a model as a canvas. A canvas that an artist draw on. Before the artist would draw on a canvas, it is plain. It is clean. We can mute our mics, please. Let's mute our mics. We don't want background noise. So, a model is a canvas. A model can also be called a type, a prototype. So, a human prototype. What do I mean by that? We have different races. We have different tribes. We have different characters, and we have different figures as human beings. So if anybody is coming into the modeling industry and you are believing that you have to be tall, only tall people can do modeling, that will not be true. Because if a model is a type, like our guest speaker has spoken, there was even a time they needed a dwarf. A dwarf is not tall because dwarf exists, and a model will need a dwarf model to showcase whatever it is an organization wants to showcase about dwarfs. So when we have the concept that is only tall people, only light-skinned people, maybe only dark people, because the humankind is of different race, tribe, characteristic, posture, position, it is not restricted to a particular kind of. So in my agency, I keep telling somebody will come into my DM and be like, "Hey, Ma, please, I want to join Velvet. Am I good enough? Do you think I can join?" And I tell them, as simple as it is, everyone has a place in the industry. But can just anybody join the modeling industry? The answer is no. Like I said, a canvas. You want to join the modeling industry, you need certain characteristics. You cannot be a hooligan and be expecting to be a model. You cannot be indecent and be expecting to be a model. And a model is a type, like I said. We are trying to express the good part of mankind. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. We're trying to showcase the aspects of the world that is pleasant to mankind, not a negative aspect. So we want to see a model with a good posture that tells the world, oh, if you are bent like this, this is how you're supposed to be. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And when you look at catwalk is not like the misconception some people have, probably a seductive way of movement. No. Catwalk is just a relative, appropriate way a person should work. You should work with grace. You should work with confidence. And you observe that the way the male model do their catwalk is different from the way the female model do theirs. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. The most important training a model will get when it comes to runway training or catwalk is basically posture and confidence. You see the model walking on the runway confidently, appropriately, with good posture. So when a parent is thinking that allowing your child to pursue a modeling dream could be negative, actually, on the contrary, it is not so. My daughter is a child model, and she became, a lot of people know her, Annabella. She's known as Bella Gold. She became a model at the age of 8. And I tell you, because I've been in this industry for quite a while, I was excited because the industry helped develop my daughter in a very wonderful way when it comes to speech, when it comes to composure, comportment, confidence, being able to express yourself. And these are the things that you enjoy in the modeling industry. Yeah, so today actually I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. Today we are not here to train you on how to work or on monologues or other aspects of modeling. This webinar is focused on giving us a clear view of what the modeling industry is. Because the first thing is walking into a field without even knowing what you're walking into. And like Mr. White has said earlier, a lot of people have different kind of misconceptions about the industry. So in this training, I'm going to shed more light on what the industry really is, and I'm going to help us identify where we fit in individually. Like Mr. White has said earlier, and like I also said earlier, the industry is big. It is very big. There is always a place for everyone. Different color, shape. Velvet Modeling Agency, we take albinos, we take talented models that are vitiligo. We take plus size models because we always get these demands. We also take, runway models. So in Velvet Modeling Agency, we don't just focus on one aspect of modeling commercials. No, we don't just focus on fashion aspect of modeling. No, we don't just focus on the runway aspect of modeling. We focus on all aspects of modeling, and basically our trainings give foundation training basics that would help an aspiring model figure out where she fits in and develop herself on a path. How you can develop yourself as a professional model to position yourself in the modeling industry appropriately. When you're trained and you are professional in your field, you don't need to cut sides to get jobs. Every producer wants the best. They want the best. So if you have what it takes, definitely you get the job. And these are the things that you learn during the course of your training. One thing we do in Velvet Modeling Agency is that we don't train everybody the same way. We allow our toddlers develop as toddlers. We allow our children develop as children. And we allow our teen develop as teen, as well as the adult models. It is wrong to expect a child model to have the training of a fully grown adult. No. It applies to what they wear, the kind of training they get during the course of their training. We deal on categorized training. You don't expect a lifestyle model in the age of 35 and above to be embarking on the aspects of a young adult model. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. Everybody has his or her own field, and by the time you know exactly where you fit in, when jobs come up in your line, you already know, you go for it. You don't go for the wrong one. And this kind of separation helps you avoid failures or rejection. Velvet Modeling Agency is a registered agency, and we've been in this modeling business for quite a while. We are also known as BMA. We are a talent developing and model grooming organization. We help models, aspiring models, discover themselves. We train them, and then we mentor them. But we don't just stop at mentoring them. We help them get launched into the industry where they can get jobs. So you don't just get trained, we launch you into the industry. We position you in the modeling industry such that you can get an appropriate job that suits your modeling category. Another aspect of our training is that we, like I said earlier, we do categorized training. For our toddlers ages 1 year to 5 years, we train them basically on camera confidence. We want them to get familiar with the camera. We allow them to express themselves naturally. They need their parents, either their mother or their father, present during the course of their training. Yes, in fact, it is more or less like 80% mother or parent training and 20% of the baby, because they hardly know exactly what they are doing. So when we train our toddlers, the parents are able to understand the concepts, the child's feelings, the way the child reacts to light, how they are able to get the child to a relaxed state during shoots and all that. So, and then we also have the children category. In the children category, we begin to develop their speeches. We begin to develop their speeches because at this time, they're already talking. We want them to learn how to naturally express themselves. We want them to already start taking, 1 or 2 lines, especially when it has to do in the commercial field. Then we also teach them and build them in the area of confidence. Yes, they begin to learn what's good posture, comportment, a little bit of poses and all that. Then we also have the teen. In this category, we already introduced the teen to a little bit of the professional modeling training, although we've not fully gone into it. So I just want to go directly into the training already. Okay, I already discussed what we'll be gaining from this webinar. So let me dive deeply into who we really are. So Velvet Modeling Agency, also known as BMA, is a talent development and model grooming agency committed to discovering, mentoring, and professionally developing aspiring models. Yes. Across different categories and background. So here at Velvet, modeling is more than an appearance. We focus on confidence building, personal development, professional presentation, personal branding, discipline, industry exposure, career development, and portfolio development. You remember when Mr. White was talking to us, he was talking about always having a current picture, a current professional shoot of yourself. Because, a model's CV, when you're going to look for a job, a model's CV is not an application letter, no. It's not the regular CV, no. A model CV is their portfolio. And these portfolios have to be updated as, as frequent as possible. It has to be updated as frequent as possible. And during the course of our models training, we ensure that we do not take lightly their portfolio development. So I would like to talk about our pathway. To join, please, can we mute that mic, please? Can we mute the mic? Okay, so our development pathway is first registration and onboarding. And then our training takes just 4 weeks. Yes, our training takes 4 weeks and is absolutely online. It's a hybrid kind of training where you have a live section, and also with the help of AI and some manuals, you get your, I call it a foundation training. When you have this foundation training, you can even build yourself to perfection after your training. So we have the foundation training. And then after your training, we have what we call the internship and portfolio building. So during this internship, we ensure that you have real life experiences. We begin to enroll our models into real life casting, fashion shows, runway activities, where we also make sure that we get a lot of pictures that we can also add to their portfolio to show their strengths in their field, such that by the time they are done with their training, they already have a rich portfolio that can speak already about what they can do. Like I said, this portfolio building includes real life industry exposure. So we'll be sending you guys for casting. You don't give up. You don't feel sad just because you went for this casting and you didn't get it through. No, you don't give up. It is part of your experience. It's part of your strength. This is what is going to perfect you at the end of the day. Not all models that has finished our trainings have a contract with Velvet Modeling Agency. But if you must have a contract with Velvet Modeling Agency, we only have 6 months contract or 12-month contract, as you can see here with our models. Yeah, so presenting our models in the industry based on their strengths for more opportunities. And I've gotten a lot of questions already in my DM, people asking me, okay, well, how much is your onboarding fee? How much is your training fee? Yeah, so our onboarding fee, which is the registration fee, is just 25,000 naira. It is just 25,000 naira. Yes, and the duration of your onboarding, training, internship, and then contract is just 3 to 5 months. Within 3 to 5 months, you're done with your training, you're done with your internship, and then you can already move into contracts where you can start earning based on our agreed contracts. So our training fee, like I said, is 25,000 naira, and our registration fee is 25,000 naira. I want to talk about what we teach in our training. What do we teach in our training? So in the training, our training covers confidence building, personal development, professional grooming, posture development, professional presentation, body proportion awareness. Yes, body proportion awareness, camera confidence, runway walking, runway turns, personal branding, commercial modeling, fashion modeling, portfolio development, and industry readiness. Yes, that is what our training covers. What are the modeling categories? Yes, I had a lot of uh, people sending a lot of messages. Okay, am I qualified to fit into modeling and all that? Yes, these are the modeling categories, especially at Velvet. There's a place, like I said earlier, for you. Velvet trains toddlers. Yes, 1 year to 4 years. Children, 5 years to 12 years. We train teen models, 13 years to 17 years. Young adults, 18 years to 34 years. And of course, matured lifestyle models, 35 to 55 years. Yes, as you can see, they are of different categories. We use different patterns, concepts to train our models. We don't put them all together. Yes, and we ensure that they get appropriate training. They get appropriate training. So Velvet also welcomes petite models, plus size models, vitiligo models, albino models, commercial models, and lifestyle models. So if you fall in this category, we are glad to welcome you in the Velvet family. Okay, so why parents trust Velvet? Age appropriate development. Yes. Children should be trained according to their age and developmental stage. So at Velvet, children are trained differently from teens. Teens are trained differently from adults. Development remains professional and age appropriate. Yes, we in fact we say a big no to the exposure of body parts when it has to do with our child model all the way to our teen model. Yes, because we want to teach them decency. Yes, we want to teach them appropriate character and attitudes. Yes, so Velvet focuses when we're dealing with our children. Our training focuses more on confidence, discipline, creativity, communication skills, self-presentation, and professional exposure. Exactly. And that is why we even have our times in schools. We actually go to schools to also have, brief trainings with some of our schools children, where we teach them more of confidence. It helps them, to express themselves. They can give speeches fluently and all that. Okay, so what would you need before training? What are the credentials a model should have? What are the credentials an aspiring or someone that wants to join Velvet Modeling Agency? What are the credentials we expect of you? So every model must submit professional headshots. This is what we mean. We don't want that one you snapped with your phone. It is not professional. No, they cannot be asking for a model listing and we're sending something you snapped with your phone, with your cupboard behind you, probably a pot at the side. It is not professional. It is like you being asked to write an application letter for a job as a manager and you're doing something else and probably you just appear there with your results or your CV and you didn't write the application letter. Each profession has their qualification. And you cannot say you want to be a model and you cannot go and take professional pictures at a studio. No, please. Because your pictures are actually your CV. It's your resume letter. Your picture is your resume. So whenever you're coming into the modeling industry, you cannot improvise. Let me just send this one. No, it won't work. It won't work. So before training, every model must submit professional headshots. This is what I mean by professional headshots. Yes. Then half-length photos. Here it is, as you can see it on the screen. And then full length, whether for an adult, a matured lifestyle model, a toddler, child, teen, it is standard. So height measurement, valid identification. We can do NIN. NIN is valid if you don't have an international passport or a driver license. Yes, NIN. We accept NIN. Yes. And then your completed registration form. So this shows for the male, and of course it applies to the female. Okay, so what are the training tools required? We don't improvise, so when you want to train, you must have these training tools. A model must have open training space. Yes. You want to rehearse your monologue, you want to rehearse your runway work, your turns. Please, you must have an open training space. We would like a plain background. So if your wall in your house is painted with a plain color, no design, we don't want wallpaper, no, except the wallpaper is plain, of course. Yes, a plain background is best. Why? It allows your image project better, and it's more visible. Exactly. So it is a must. A ring light is also compulsory. Yes, a clear picture is only what is accepted. Because if you are joining the training and you don't have a ring light, if you send your work that is dark or blurry, we won't take it. We won't take it, and it will affect your progress during training. I was going to say earlier that the duration, like I was talking about earlier about the contract, what determines how long your internship is actually your progress during your training. So for those people that kept to the rules, their requirements, concentrated, they didn't get distracted, they are serious about their training, you see it in their work. They will grab everything we are teaching them on time, and automatically they don't really need to spend much time as a learner or somebody practicing to get certified and already get into our contracts. Yes, the contract models are paid models. Exactly. So you need a ring light, a smartphone, the agency ID card. Yes, so as soon as you join Velvet Modeling Agency, we create a soft copy ID for you. At the back of your ID card, you have a QR code. That QR code links to your soft, should I say, online portfolio, such that whenever it is scanned, all your work, model portfolio, it will just link into that place, and at any time, anywhere, you don't lose your job. You can always access your work and your pictures. So that's why the ID card is very, very important. Your training attire. So for the toddlers, attire is different from the children, from the teen, exactly, and then the adults, professional models, and then the lifestyle models. So your training attire is compulsory. As soon as you've registered, the appropriate attire for each category would be sent alongside your registration form so that you can get them before the training. We don't improvise. When we say a black tank top and a black leggings, it has to be a black tank top and a black leggings, please. When we say a white t-shirt, fitted t-shirt and a black jean, please adhere to that, because it will help your training. By the time you are improvising, there are things we check. Your physique. These training attires have been carefully selected so that no matter how your training goes, we can easily see what we're looking for. So by the time you're improvising, I think it's going to really affect that. So please, we don't improvise. A water bottle during training, you lose a lot of strength. Dehydration is always there. So we like our models rehydrating themselves again. And then a small towel and change of clothes. Of course, so building your professional portfolio, I'd like to shine more light on that aspect. So portfolio development is compulsory, like I said. You cannot, it's like going to the farm without your tools. So that is why it is very, very important. You must have that mindset. In fact, that is why we dropped the price of registration and training that low. Because we want you guys to be able to afford a professional shot when necessary. Portfolio development is compulsory. Recommended professional photo shoots during training, internship, contract period are compulsory and at models cost. These materials are used to build portfolio, submit for castings, apply for jobs, create professional visibility, create industry opportunities. Yeah, I hope that is clear. I'd like to also talk about the opportunities available to models after training. I would also want to use an example. For instance, a footballer in the course of training may look like a joke, but by the time they become professionals, we all know what they earn in the industry, in the football industry. The modeling industry is a big place. There is always a job. The question is, are you professional enough to get the job? Do you have what it takes? And that is where Velvet Modeling Agency comes in. We train you, we mentor you, and then we position you where you can confidently get jobs. So where can Velvet models work? After training, portfolio development, internship, Velvet models may become eligible for opportunities as fashion shows, runway modeling, commercial modeling, brand promotion, product advertising, TV and online commercials, social media campaigns, editorial and magazine features, fashion designer showcases, beauty campaigns, corporate brand representation, event hosting and brand activation, catalog modeling, lifestyle modeling, influencer collaboration, international exposure opportunities. So you see that there's a place for you. Actually, there's a place if you know what you're doing, you are disciplined, and you take whatever it is you have decided to take seriously, there is always a place for you. Yes. And one good thing about modeling is that it's not a profession that forces you into a field you don't want to. You have the opportunity to say, oh, I don't want to do this aspect of modeling. This is what I want to go for. Exactly. So that is that about where you can work. What's our internship program like? Internship program simply means models learning through experience. Like I said, after your training, whenever these casting calls come out, we position our models into those fields. It's not because we expect you to immediately, get jobs and all that. But the more of these things you participate in, the more runway works you are getting experience in, photo shoot experience you're having, casting experience you're having, industry exposure you're having, professional confidence you're building, and portfolio development. So that's just what our internship is. We just get our models after, the training is more online. Internship gives you the real life experience of what you already learned. So contracts and industry opportunities. What happens after training? Upon successful completion, models may qualify for 6 months contracts or 12 months contracts. Models are introduced to opportunities within the modeling industry and the fashion industry. Velvet does not guarantee employment. So it's like going to school. When you attended your secondary school, you wrote your exams. You have to pass the exam to get into university. Just because you attended secondary school does not guarantee, the school does not assure you that once you come to my school, you're going to get into the university. No. You have to prove yourself. Yes, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove what you've learned. What we will do is position you after your training where you can get as many modeling jobs as possible, as you desire, and at your own pace. At your own pace. Exactly. But we are rest assured that based on the training you've got, it will be very hard for you not to, get jobs. So trained models become more competitive through professional training, industry exposure, portfolio development, internship, and for contract jobs secured through Velvet. So our contract job is a 70-30 contract. Yes, where the models get a 70% and the agency gets 30%. So why should you join Velvet? Why should you join Velvet? More than modeling, Velvet helps individuals develop confidence, public presentation, communication skills, personal branding, professional behavior, self-development. Even those who do not pursue modeling benefit from the life skills taught during training. So at the end of the training, not everybody may want to eventually become a professional model, but we even have some companies who send in their staffs, for communication skills, presentation, and self-development. And these are the aspects also that I believe children benefit a lot from.